Hi, I am Kiara Ong and I am a physical therapist. In my practice, I constantly see people who are denied necessary healthcare despite stellar documentation from their providers. And it's not just that. I also see people with diagnosis, and when I ask them, do you know what's going on with you? Has this been explained to you by your doctor? And then they tell me, no, actually, I waited 3 hours to only be seen for less than 10 minutes. And I think that that is not fair to the patients. But at the same time, I think to the back of my head, has that doctor eaten yet? Are they getting enough sleep? Or are they taking so much work home because there's not enough time to see all these patients and give them individualized care? And what I see in the practice here in the United States, we require healthcare providers to provide life-altering medical decisions, and yet we also deprive them of the resources they need to make these decisions, to effectively do their job. And I think that that is a disservice to both the patients and the providers. What I do in my practice is I try to fill in the gaps that other providers are not able to, but there's only so much I can do as an individual because I found out that there's only one of me, but there's so many other more patients that I'm not seeing or I can't physically see because there's just so much work to be done. But I'm only one, and I think that this is why I want to pursue law. This is why I want to pursue a career in legislation, because I found out that healthcare does not start in the clinic. It starts with the law. But healthcare in the US is not where I want to stop, but it is where I want to start. Later in my career, when I am more financially stable and when I am more of it in a safer place, I want to go back to the Philippines, and I would like to help fix the corruption there. The Philippines is situated in the Ring of Fire in the Pacific Ocean, which makes it incredibly prone to natural disasters. But when we look at a neighboring country, say Japan, who is also in the Ring of Fire, they don't face the same devastation as the Philippines year after year after year. And this is because there are protective projects in place. But when we look at the Philippines, there are funds dedicated to these projects, but then they are misused. The funds of the people that are supposed to protect them and their loved ones are used to fund lavish lifestyles of corrupt officials. And this just shows that there is a lack of checks and balances in the system in the Philippines. And this has been going on for decades after decades. And this cannot go on. And this is why I think that there has to be reform in the Philippines legislation. But I know that this is not going to be an easy task. And so this is why I plan to do this maybe later in life when I am more stable. My goals, both in the healthcare in the US, as well as in the more broader civil rights in the Philippines later on in my career, I aim to impact and help marginalized communities and underserved communities that cannot afford legal representation or whose voices are overlooked by the system. And I think that this is in line with the goals of Butler Khan. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Because I too want to help people and their families. And I hope that you could help me. Thank you.